Hi, let's recap Legend of Korra. Book 4 Balance, Episode 4, The Calling. You could classify this as a filler episode. Not really a lot happened, but it served as a great character-driven episode, so, it progressed the characters and what they were doing, and one plot device happened. Basically, the children found Korra in the swamp, and they are headed back to Republic City. If you look at continuity, that was the major important thing in this episode. To see basically all three of the air babies on their mission and kind of how that's affecting each and every one of them. And then we got to see what's going on with Korra and Toph in the swamp. So first off, the air babies, Jinora, Ikki, Milo, they were sent off on this mission by Tenzin. They all have their own problems that they are dealing with and their own kind of personalities. We're seeing each one as an individual rather than just the clump of air babies. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Jinora, but now we're getting to see the individuals of Ikki and Milo. At least more fleshed out in this episode than a couple of scenes here and there. Turns out that Milo is actually a pretty good drawer, and he drew this great picture of Korra, and he is super focused on this mission. He's got this kind of child complex where he wants to be bigger than himself, and he wants to he wants to be a naval captain, and he wants to be a teacher, and he wants to lead missions, and he wants to be known as an adventurer. And this leads to some pretty awesome comedy with Milo and the people that he's interacting with trying to find Korra. He's also yelling at his sisters a lot, you guys need to pick up your slack, and we are in the wild, we don't need food in bag packages. And he's like, we can hunt for our food, and me and Pokey will handle this. And it's kind of funny because a lot of what he's saying is symbolic of Atla and how they were on their quests. But it's totally romanticized and exaggerated, and he's a very dramatic kid. He says, Milo, we're vegetarians, we don't hunt! And Jinora is basically focused on her spirituality. Things may not be as clear as they were because she's not able to connect with Korra when she starts meditating. She can't use her astral projection to find her as of now. This may be because of the swamp interference, or this may be something personal to Jinora. We don't really know yet. And Ikki is a classic middle child syndrome where both of her siblings are just totally dramatic and crazy, and, Milo's all gung-ho about the mission, and Jinora's like, I need quiet. And so what Ikki's feeling is kind of common with middle children, she's not crazy and adorable like Milo, and she's also not as advanced as Jinora. So what happens with Ikki is she gets captured by two of Kuvira's soldiers who are left behind, and the purpose of this is to advance, that side of the plot, so we find out that the soldiers are upset that they didn't get to go to Zaofu. So we get a little hint from the creators, hey, next episode we're gonna take over Zaofu! Thanks, Bryke, for that. But Ikki is, tied up, and she starts relating to them because, she's feeling left out, and she's not feeling as special. But it turns out that Ikki is actually one who solves everything, and she can actually very easily get out of those ropes. And she looks at the map, and she finds out that, the Kuvira's troops are not in the swamp, and that's the only area where they haven't looked yet. And so, at first they're both like, nah, we don't think she's here, but then, just like in Atla, when they fly over the swamp wants them in there, and so it drags them in. In Atla, when Aang tried to fly away, because everyone felt so strongly about not going into the ominous swamp, a twister showed up and, caused them to hurtle down and crash and get separated. However, this time with the air babies, vines come up and drag them in there. So let's get into the swamp. So at first, Korra and Toph are just chilling around doing absolutely nothing because Korra is prolonging facing her fears and facing the things that she's dealing with. And so she goes off to find mushrooms, and she actually has visions in the swamp of all of her past enemies. So, we see Amon taking her bending away. We see Unalaq taking Rava out of her. We see Zahir trying to suck the air out of her lungs. Korra tells Toph about it. Toph says, well, what do all these people have in common? They all had their ideologies. They wanted to make benders and non-benders equal. They wanted to bring back the spirits, and they wanted to create a more balanced, political side of things. And all they had in common was that they had these strong ideals, but they were unbalanced, and they went about it in the wrong way. And what Korra needs to realize is that she has to stop fighting these enemies that are in her past, otherwise she's not going to be able to move forward and deal with enemies now. Kind of realizes kind of what all the fans have realized, that they're not actually, really evil people, they're just going about their ideologies in the wrong way. And so when Korra faces this and she realizes that she has been defeated and this is not black and white, she can finally move past it. So Toph brings her to the gigantic tree in the swamp, which we all love from Atla. Toph kind of repeats what Du said in the swamp when he said that to Aang, that everything is connected. Korra uses her spirituality to locate the babies and Janora's bison Pepper in the swamp, and that's when Janora says, "I see her! I see Korra!" And so they automatically fly up and come and hug her, and it's a beautiful reunion. And so Korra finds the people that she loves in the swamp through this cathartic tree. Toph meets the air babies, which is just so adorable and feels, because it's like Aang and Katara's grandchildren. Why have we not met before? Well, I've been in the swamp this whole time. In the final climax of the episode, Toph says, "Korra, you are ready, you need to face your fears, you need to let it go," and everything that she's learned throughout the episode, she is able to face her enemies and realize that that fight is over, and she gets the poison out, and she, pushes it out, and it kind of tears off of her skin. Toph captures it in a rock, and then boom, she can go into the Avatar state. It was kind of nice seeing Toph for this little arc. Korra finally got that hug from her once she helped her get the medal out. So next week we'll see them probably back in Republic City dealing with everything, and we'll also see what's going on in Zaofu with Kuvira's army marching toward there, trying to take it over and reunite the Earth Kingdom with the last city.